Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Let's get started.
The following program is brought to you by More Broadcasting. For more information, visit us at morebroadcasting.com.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for O'MearaCast, featuring Marcus Serta. Without further ado, let's bring him in here. America's favorite P1 listener, Mr. Marcus Serta.
Live from the Green Mountain Studios in Vermont, this is O'MearaCast, and a full show today, represented by a number of fans of TMOS and More Broadcasting, starting with, of course, I have to say hello, a guy I haven't seen in weeks now, Steve Mermelstein.
Hey now.
Glad he's here so we can stream live on Ustream. Also, a guy I haven't seen in quite a while, talkative on Facebook occasionally, Vinny. All right, man.
You're going to screw it up, aren't you?
Because my brain wants to screw it up. I want to say Hebert, but I know it's not.
Hey Bear.
It's Hey Bear.
Hey Bear. No H.
No
Just
H.
say Hey Bear.
Little Quebecois.
Yeah.
It's got to totally be screwed up by Brits all the time. Because, like, the word herb, right? They pronounce the H. They say herb, whereas most people would probably say herb.
Well, it's a good thing I live in Vermont where there's not a lot of Brits.
That's true. Absolutely true.
Let's just nickname him Kodiak.
Nice. And speaking from the nether regions of Skype is Mary Chastain. Hi, Mary.
My name is Mary, and I love banana runts.
What is a banana runt?
You don't know what runts are?
Oh, are those the goofy little candies?
Yeah, they're in the shape of the fruit they're flavored as.
Oh, okay. Yeah, not a fan of the runts.
I don't think I've ever seen one.
So even though Vinny looks like a runt, short,
potato.
stout, with
Looks
his
like a
handle,
potato.
look like a potato. Couch there, potato.
Yes.
We've got a lot of things to kind of get into. There was a little bit of drama this week on all the shows, but let's start with I wanted Mary on the show this week because Mary got a bit of fame this week on the Rob and Joe show, or through the Rob and Joe show. Mary went to go see them live and then ended up as the cover photo for the Rob and Joe show's Facebook page. How did you feel about that, Mary?
I was actually very honored. That's actually the second time I've seen Rob. I caught him in Frederick, Maryland at the Cellar Door, and I was trying to get a bunch of friends to come with me. I had 3 friends coming, and all 3 of them ended up sick. So I was sitting at a table by myself, laughing my head off. I could hardly breathe. The whole night was hilarious, and introduced myself at the end of the show, and chit-chatted with him. We all went across the street, got a beer. It was a great night. So I told my friends that were sick, I told them about it, and 2 of them came with me to the show with the picture in question.
Yeah.
So at least I got to show them that I really do have friends. I'm not that much of a loser.
You're not a stalker. You're not a guy. You're not a person who just wants to get their name on a show like a particular Johnson.
I mean, yeah, he didn't have to. They didn't have to say anything about me being there. Not at all. I had so much fun just at the show, and these 2 guys. I mean, anybody in the TMOS fandom that sees it, that Joe or Rob are doing a show near them, they need to go. It's affordable, and these 2 guys deliver. They're hilarious.
It's affordable now until they break into the big time, and then we'll have to pay the big bucks. But describe the humor that you got listening to them do stand up, because I really get when I watch them on Facebook. Especially Rob Mayer. Joe doesn't say much in social media, but Rob is pretty vocal in social media, and his jokes seem to range from talking about race to talking about pop culture to talking about his relationship. He's kind of all over the place.
Yeah, you know what? I have had the pleasure of seeing 2 very different shows, because just like any other entertainer, they do have a set list. They kind of know what they're going to get into before they do their shows. They're prepared for the show.
Yeah.
The first show, though, he in Frederick, Maryland, he had done, I think he told me, like 5 shows in a row before the cellar door. And he was so tired of doing his set that he just decided to do audience participation that night. And it just so happened that very luckily, front and center was a table full of drunk girls. So he just, I mean, he was just playing off the audience, and it was amazing. It was so funny. I could hardly breathe. I was laughing so hard that, you start coughing when you laugh that hard. And I mean, the whole night was amazing. I had no idea that he was just kind of winging it.
Well,
So that shows you his talent right there.
yeah, because I can think of a lot of comedians that have really great comedy or do really great stand-up, but when it comes to improvisation, suck. Just totally can't maintain the humor through in a spontaneous moment. So, yeah, that speaks highly of Rob if he can pull that off and work with whatever he's got in front of him. But as Vinny indicated, 3 drunk girls, those are easy targets. For multiple reasons, not just the fact that they're funny.
Well, and what was really funny was, and he talked about it in their podcast, was one of them decided that she was going to get mad at him. And she thought he was being misogynistic, and she got up and walked out in the middle of the show.
Oh. Did they
Which
also...
actually... Go ahead.
Did they also indicate that they had mentioned you during one of their acts?
In the first time I went, he did say, thank you to me for showing up on their next podcast. The second show, in the show, yes, he called me by name a few times, and it was really, I was not expecting it. It was really fun that all of a sudden I'm part of his show and his comedy. And Oscar was there, and Todd Moore and some other people, and he's like, hey, you brought some friends, It was really cool.
So you got a call out above Oscar Santana and Todd Moore.
Yes, I got called out, and they got called out too. They were quite interactive with them as well.
Oh, that sounds so much fun. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the shows are concerned, obviously you are a big fan of TMOS. That's how you came to this place. But what about the Rob and Joe show? Now that you've chosen to go out and see them in person, interact with them, how are you feeling about the Rob and Joe show in comparison to the whole Moore Network?
All in. I was jazzed to check it out anyway, because if they're good enough for Mike O'Meara to invite them onto the network, then they're worth giving some time and checking it out and seeing, if they're my cup of tea, and they certainly were. I enjoyed their podcast, and prior to that, I had been to a couple comedy shows here and there years ago, and they were always so fun. But for some reason in my life and with my circle of friends, for whatever reason, going to a comedy show never seemed to be something that I would just think of out of the blue. Hey, let's go catch a show.
Right.
So when they started their podcast, and I really liked their podcast, I thought, these guys are so accessible. Of course, I friended them on Facebook and followed their Rob and Joe show page, and I saw that they're doing stuff in Frederick, Maryland, and in Richmond every now and then. So these are 2 places that I'm back and forth in between, and I kept an eye out. I saw when their a show was coming up. The first one was just Rob Mayer. Joe wasn't there.
Yeah.
But
Joe's been skipping out on a lot of Rob's appearances.
Yes, evidently he is. He gives Joe a lot of guff about that. But I purposely went because they're part of the network, and I wanted to see what their style was in that kind of setting, because it could be very different from their podcast.
Yeah.
And so I went, and I was not disappointed in the least. And so I've been keeping my eye out. Actually, in fact, the husband and wife I took with me to the second show, Roxana, she's a good friend of mine. We're working on a bachelorette party, and we are taking the bachelorette to one of Rob's shows.
Oh, my God. You are going to be asking for the spotlight is going to be probably put on you, or at least your party. And Rob is going to have fun with that, I'm sure.
Oh, I hope so. I am going to force her to wear all sorts of phallic things, so she will not be missed.
Why don't you just put a sign on her that says "Easy Target"?
Yeah.
Wow.
A shirt with a bullseye on it.
Well, I think that for me, I'm slightly jealous. No, I'm really freaking jealous because you live in that area, and now that we've got all these new shows on More Broadcasting, people like Rob, Joe, Mickey, and Wendy, they're out there doing their comedy. You have the ability to see them often. With TMOS, we're lucky enough they do meet and greets, they do live events. But now with these new shows, you have so much access to these personalities and these people, and they're so gracious to take a picture, to mention you by name, to put you on their Facebook page. They're very cool people. I'm really enjoying it.
And we get Marcus.
Yeah.
Hey, that's almost as good.
Yeah, if you consider almost as good a radish.
I like
An
radishes.
heirloom radish.
We'll talk about that in a bit.
Well, I have to say, Marcus, that's probably one of the reasons I love TMOS, and one of the reasons I love the Rob and Joe show so much is because of the accessibility. I am currently a little regretful that I have yet to catch Wendy Townsend or Mickey Coachella outside of the O'MearaCon appearance. And I was really upset. I was supposed to go to a conference in Gettysburg next month and saw that they were going to have Mickey Coachella do a set to open up the conference. Turns out I have a mandatory business trip and I'm going to miss his set.
Oh.
So, I mean, it's almost like a calamity of events. Every time I see that there's something that I might be able to go to, something happens that keeps me from checking out one of his shows. But that's my main goal is to catch Wendy Townsend and Mickey Coachella as well.
Well, you'll have a better chance of it than me. So good luck, and I look forward to hearing about that. I also want to talk about another fan of TMOS who became very popular this week as they described something that she didn't really do. And of course, I got to turn up the volume so the thing can actually be played and heard. All right, here we go.
We're talking about the Stephanie Matulich "Hey Listen" poster.
Oh yeah,
that she posted a couple of days ago. And I will tell you,
this broad.
People do this all the time.
So she hates us.
Did Stephanie Matulich?
But I think she loves us.
Now let's go to our Facebook expert, Rob, who knows everybody personally on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know this lady that we speak of?
What jumps to mind about Stephanie, if I'm not mistaken, she is a Sacramento area listener.
Okay.
And she adores us, and I believe we've all met her at the Reno show. I think she was out there for that.
A little late to the party. Stephanie comes in with, I think it was called "Hey Listen," TMOS 1000.
Yeah, that was the name of the top of it, right?
And it was a little animation done. There it is. Pony's got it.
And I don't know that animation is the right word. What it is it's a series of images. It's like a photograph or maybe even like a painting. It doesn't move, but the images of us are almost cartoon representations of us.
Caricatures in a way.
I would say they're LSD representations of us.
Yeah, do you remember at the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark when the Nazis melt? What these look like are photographs of us right as we start melting.
All right, so there's the guys talking about this image that popped up, and Stephanie, I can't, on the line, let me just say first, on my phone, on my cell phone, I'm pulling a Mike O'Meara right now. On my cell phone right now, Stephanie Matulich. Is that how you pronounce the last name? Is it Matulich?
It's Madelich, but that's okay.
Madelich, okay.
Oh, you were way off.
I was way off. As usual with last names, I always am. But Stephanie, your name got brought into this story because you're the person that probably got the most awareness out there because you shared this image from another listener. Do you want to give credit to the other listener, or do you want them to go anonymous?
No, absolutely. Dirk Bastrick, he actually is the person who created the image, and I believe that he documented in a couple of different posts that it was episode, I think, 926, that he says the boys' T-shirt with that image on it. And he and his brother came to the same theater, and they both wore that shirt. And they only made 6 shirts of the 4 guys and for him and his brother. And so I just happened to see it one day while on the TOMS 1000 hashtag, and I saw it and I liked it, and I copied the picture to my phone, and then I just happened to be going through it like in the middle of the night one night when I couldn't sleep, and I thought, oh, that's a cool picture. I'll put it back on my cover page, and then I tagged all the guys in it, and then it just kind of exploded, and then I didn't even remember who put it up. And then Dirk finally made a statement that he's the one that made the picture and all that, and then so obviously the guys didn't read the comments that were on that picture, but I felt really bad for Dirk because he did it, and he private messaged me and said, oh no, it's cool, it's all good. So yeah, Dirk is the one that takes full credit for that. I had nothing to do with it. I just posted it and tagged people.
Well, how did you feel about the boys talking about you? I mean, I know that the image is not your fault, as it were, but how did you feel about the boys talking about you so much?
Well, it was funny because one of my friends, Kate Matthews, had private messaged me because she was listening to the show live as I was getting ready to go to work, and she's like, oh, the boys are talking about you, and then like later on I get another one, oh, you're listener of the year, and then you talked about it too, and then on Facebook, and when I clicked on the image, I'm like, oh man, I feel so bad for Dirk, and like I said in a post that I put up on the fan page, that Rob has one thing right, I do adore the guys. I wasn't, so I definitely adore the guys.
Yeah.
And I can't believe he forgot I was at the State Theater as well, all the way from California. But no harm taken in that. But it was cool. I mean, it's cool to have your name mentioned, and I'm a huge TLMSer, as everybody knows, and but I just want to make sure that Dirk gets his props because he's the guy that created the picture, and kind of like the unsung hero, if you will.
Yeah, I reached out to Dirk to try to get him on the show today too. Unfortunately, I chose to do it at the last minute, so therefore I didn't give the boy enough time to respond. But it was a very funny image of that Dirk put together. Now you shared it, and when you shared it, you had to have known that those images of the boys didn't look a lot like the boys. I mean, kind of, but the coloring was way off.
Oh, well, yeah, the coloring was off, but I mean, it's just a funny picture. It was all from the Reno Theater, State Theater show, or not State Theater, the Circus show.
Yeah.
Basically, and it was like, and I just liked it, and I guess I thought it was funny, and I like, have something people mess on my Facebook somewhere or another, whether it's my Gabe Stein animation picture or, something people mess, and so I thought, oh, I'll put that up, and then, it's just kind of like top fire, and I just tagged those guys just to create more awareness and hopefully spread the word about the show.
Well, thank you for participating in that listener initiative and continuing to put the word out. And regardless that Dirk is the one that made the image, I still think you are fan of the day, and we will give Dirk another day and make that his day.
That's awesome. I appreciate it. I was actually nervous to listen to the Friday show to see if I was going to be unfan of the day, but they didn't see anything yesterday, so that was cool.
I think you're fun. Just enjoy it. Walk around with a billboard saying you are the fan of the day, a little tiara maybe, and go out into the world and enjoy it.
I will, definitely.
All right, Stephanie, thanks for talking with us today.
No problem. You guys have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Poor Dirk got Will Johnson.
That he did, and I'll say this: you saw the image, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And the image, that coloring, Dirk. Hey man, thanks for the effort. Great job on the shape, on the hairlines, all of that. It was fantastic. The coloring was just, it really made Oscar look like an African American. It made Rob look like, boy, I'm trying to remember now. I think he looked a bit, if I remember, he was very reddish.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was.
It's always color with you.
Exactly. It made Rob look like he was in a drunken stupor. But I thought it was a fun image. I hit like when I saw it, but I also found it funny because I put on Facebook, hey, Stephanie Matalich is the fan of the day, and then I get back from Stephanie, I didn't do that. Mm-hmm. Almost a denial, but I know why she said it, and It was very funny for the boys to go back and forth about that image, and make their comments about what they thought they look like.
I like the description Rob gave about the Indiana Jones and the which one was it?
Face melting.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was probably a good one. Now, speaking of Rob, so and I want to start off with a comment that Vinny made to me off air a couple of days ago as we were talking about this show. I'm going to call you on it.
Oh, fine. I'll stand by it.
Okay. So, Vinny says to me, I just want you to know.
And I said no offense, too.
No offense.
I wasn't trying to belittle your podcast.
Absolutely.
Here.
We all come to More Broadcasting. We all come to this place, and we've all met around the conversation of the Mike O'Meara Show. Vinny was on O'MearaCast once before, and we talked about his love of the Mike O'Meara Show. And you listened to the Mike O'Meara Show back in the D&M days, right?
I did, yeah.
So you're a longtime fan of Mike O'Meara and these guys, and you brought that into More Broadcasting. Now there's a new show in More Broadcasting. The newest of the shows, Cake and Cookie, the Rob and Katie Show. And you said to me, this is the best show on More Broadcasting.
I did.
Above TMOS, which puts... I had to take a bit of a step back because it's a little surprising to hear that from people, only because of the fact that we come to this place because of TMOS for the most part. But talk to me about that. I mean, why is Cake and Cookies now your number one show on More Broadcasting?
Well, I mean, it's not like I stopped listening to TMOS and I don't love TMOS.
No.
TMOS.
Yeah.
TMOS. I always can't say those letters together. I slur them together and they become TMOS.
Yes.
All right. But I've always been a big fan of Rob Spiewak. I'm a Rob Mumber, and I always have been, even back on the Dynamite days. I always liked Rob Spiewak, and I still do. And him with Katie is just amazing. Their dynamic is incredible.
Yeah, they have really great chemistry, and you can. I get where Oscar is going when I listen for that sexual tension that comes from Rob Spiewak. I don't think it comes from Katie at all. But I think it's not even a matter. I would almost think that any woman could sit in that seat and Rob would have sexual tension with whoever it is. Don't you agree?
I don't want to be on. So. I don't want to be on that end of things.
But you love the.
I like Rob, but just not in that way.
You love the chemistry of these two.
I do.
I also found out today, and again, another shocking surprise. And everybody's even going to be more surprised as we hear the voice of Steve Mermelstein repeating what to me from earlier.
I agree. For me, the Rob and Katie show is quickly gaining on TMOS, and I think it might surpass it any time now.
I just have to say that Mike should be proud of having such a quality show on his network. Mm-hmm. Rob does a great job on TMOS every day.
Yeah.
I find that when Rob is not there, and he's rarely not there, but that one time he wasn't there, for me, because I am such a Rob mobber, I did feel that it lacked something. And so having Rob there doing his own podcast, because I miss Rob Radio. I liked.
Oh my God, Rob Radio was the bomb.
I know.
I miss it a lot.
And so having Rob doing his own thing where he's in charge, it's his show.
Yeah.
And Katie's, because I don't have any recollection of her previously.
Yeah.
So this is my first experience with her.
Right.
And those two together, the show, speaking of her dogs, in the voice of her dogs, even Wendy Townsend mentioned that on It's Mickey about her talking in the voice of her dogs. Mm-hmm. Hilarious. And they've only done 4 shows.
One of my favorite pieces that Katie does, and I think it gets better and better each time so far, has been the
opener.
The opener. It's the I hate list.
Yep.
Why I hate whatever. Katie's I hate. I can't remember how she titles it, but.
And I hate you too.
And I hate you.
You know what I hate?
Yeah, and it's a great one. Yeah, I agree with you. The chemistry is there. Now I can't help but ask Mary now. Mary, as far as all the shows on More Broadcasting, give me your top three in order 1 through 3.
Top three. Well, TMOS number one right away.
Yeah,
Suck up.
They're my flagship. I love them with all my heart.
yeah.
I'm completely loyal to them. Number two, I'm gonna have to say O'MearaCast.
Yay!
All right.
Wow.
I love
She
O'MearaCast.
wants
I
to
get
be
to.
back on.
I got that cornered, honey. You don't worry about that. No, I just love it. I love being able to ham it up with fans of the show. Met the O'MearaCast crew at O'MearaCon, and it was one of the best weekends of my life. So, definitely number two.
You need to get out more.
Number
Wait. That was the best weekend of your life. You need to get out more.
one of. No, I had such a fun time. We went, kind of globe trotting and saw all sorts of things, and
Yeah.
we all had something very, very in common, and
Mark
it
is
was
eating a
almost like
salad.
we knew each
Mark is
other
eating
for
a steak.
years.
What we need for Mary, to use a Wendyism, is to find her mountain man.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then we will fade into distant memory. But this week on Cake and Cookies, to go back to that.
But you never got to number 3.
Oh, I'm sorry. Number 3. Yes, go ahead.
Well, this is what's tough is I'm gonna have to say Rob and Joe show, because I do enjoy the fact that I've been to their comedy shows, and I can relate to them now on a very personal level. Cake and Cookies is a great show, and just because I had to choose 3 doesn't mean I don't like them. I love them. It's awesomely funny, and so is it's Mickey. It's an amazing show. In fact, every time I listen to it, I love Wendy even more, because she's just such a pure heart and just loves the good in everything. But at the same time,
She's a
she can
pistol.
sling a joke with the best of them.
Yes, she can.
Yes, she can.
That is what I love about her.
Well, I got to say, looking at the time, we should take a quick break and come back, because I've got clips from Cake and Cookie, and it's Mickey, and it was a big week for O'MearaCast, and it's Mickey, that I really want to get into. So let's do that. Let's take a break. Oh, you know what? I keep doing this to myself. I keep thinking, I need to do this, and then I remember, oh, wait, I got something else I was supposed to do. Mary, while I have you talking about top 3s, let me ask you this question. On a scale of 1 to 10, Rob Mayer.
On a scale of 1 to 10?
Yeah, what do you think of him?
Oh, I'd put him at an 8.
Okay, Joe Robinson.
Easy 8 as well. He's a cutie pie.
All right, so let's go to the TMWS guys, who I know you've met in person and you've interacted with. So Rob Spiewak.
I don't think I should answer that. He remembers everything.
Oh, you got to give it up now. Come on.
Oh, Rob, I would say 6.5.
Ooh.
I have to say, he has the most infectious smile. I love his smile. He looks like he's discovering something for the first time every time he smiles for a picture or anything. So, yes, he's endearing in that way. I always like that.
He's like a big kid.
Does the plaid jacket help or hurt his score?
The plaid jacket. Okay, let's give him a 7 for the plaid jacket.
Oh, there you go. How about Oscar Santana?
Oscar Santana, I would say he's a 8, definitely.
Keeping it tight at an 8, very nice. And then
Keeping it tight, I'd probably pushing a 9, but solid 8.
All right, let's finish it off then with Mr. Mike O'Meara.
Oh, I would say an 8.
Really, Oscar and Mike O'Meara an 8.
Well, you know what? I think is because my tastes are not exactly common. I don't go for the type of guy that most people go for, and definitely the comedy is what attracts me,
Yeah.
as well as I don't know, just certain specific features on somebody. It doesn't have to be the whole package.
So if they keep it tight and do voices, they're good.
Somebody doesn't have to keep it tight for me.
All right, then I'm going to throw it in there, and Mickey's probably going to jump all over this.
Uh-oh.
Come on, Mickey Coachella.
Oh, I think he's adorable.
Oh.
He's a cute little guy. I would give him an 8 too. Actually, you know what? Maybe a mid-7.
Oh, she just lowered it to a mid-7.
See, this is the thing, and this is why I understand why Wendy didn't want to do it. Yeah. It's because it's very hard to on-the-fly categorize somebody like that.
Well, keep in
7,
mind.
8, 7. I have not met Mickey personally, so I really couldn't even give you a true accounting.
No, I
understand. But see, now Rob Spiewak doesn't really like me that much, so he gets some demerits.
Oh, well, I don't know about that. I don't know that he doesn't like you. Come on.
I think he appreciates that I'm kind of carrying on the bit.
That's probably true. Let's and keep in mind that later on in the show, here's the tease. For later on the show, we're going to have to play a little MFK. So keep in mind, who you would MFK for later on the show. Okay, guys?
Okay.
Mary, especially you, because Mary's the woman in the room, and honestly, when I put the guys on the list, she's probably the only one that's going to have a good answer. So let's take a break. When we come back, I have clips from Cake and Cookies and from It's Mickey right here on OMearaCast.
Hey, Joe, what is your favorite episode ever of the OMearaCast?
Well, I've only ever heard one.
Oh, the episode we were on?
We were on for like the first 3 minutes. I didn't listen to that part of it.
No, I didn't. I didn't listen to that either. But I'm sure it was great.
From what I hear, it's pretty good.
Better than It's Mickey.
Catch The Rob and Joe Show live every Monday night at 7:30. Just go to live.robandjoeshow.com. You can also stream or download wherever you subscribe to your favorite podcasts. Visit robandjoe.com for all the ways to listen.
Welcome back to OMearaCast, and as I said, we wanted to talk about some things on Cake and Cookies this week, especially Dillinger pulling a knife.
Oh, actually, you know what? Can I try to do it in Judy Tulia?
Yeah, please do.
He doesn't want my help.
Oh, God. That's it.
Thank you.
So I go out, and Julia's story is holding together for the first part because Robert is on the floor.
Oh, is the boy okay?
He seems to be fine.
All right.
And I said, what happened? Because as a parent for the past 13 years of one kid and the past 11 years of two, this is one of the greatest questions you can ask.
What happened?
You never know exactly what happened. And always with the upside downs, like you're holding your upside down hands like you're holding invisible gloves.
Melons.
What happened?
What happened?
And this is when Robert said it. He said, well, Julia pulled a knife on me.
Oh my God!
I swear to God. What? I swear to God.
Welcome to the slow progression of a serial killer. First, she lies, and she's on Facebook when she's not supposed to. And now she's pulling knives on her brother. What does the future look like for one Julia Spiewak?
But you gotta finish. I mean, you stopped the clip when she said, before she said, "I thought it would be funny." She's got her dad's sense of humor. Not that I think he's ever pulled a knife on anybody, but she's got a kind of a dark sense of humor.
That's what I thought when I was in this bar this one time, and I pulled out a knife, Hey, man, I was just kidding.
Just trying to be funny.
Dude, I was just kidding.
Somebody better hide
I'm going to give you back your wallet.
I know. Hey, I only robbed that bank because it was a joke, man. It was kidding. Guess what? The comedian's defense. That'll be the next law in Florida.
Yeah.
Look, man, I was just kidding. All right, not guilty. I just found it really funny that these are two typical kids, and they respond like a brother and sister team tandem situation in any household. I mean, between my sister and I, it was always butting heads, and I was the older brother, so I was the dick.
Oh yeah, older brother here too.
Yeah, so I get it. I get how that dynamic works, and it's funny how Rob approaches it, and maybe he didn't describe the whole situation accurately, but it sounds like he kind of just strolled upstairs, So what happened? What's going on? You know, and oh, you pulled a knife. Well, you know, don't pull a knife. It's okay. I wish I had that
No.
sounder that Mike
What
has.
happened was he was listening to this entire story and said, "Oh my gosh, that's a great bit for the show."
I know. For him, there's entertainment value in it, but at the same time, there's no. I grounded her for a month.
I know, but how can you do that? How
little
can you,
brat.
how can you ground your child when you're sitting there laughing about it on the radio? It just can't be justified.
I think that I did not hear in the story that he had the sit down talk with his daughter, going, look, comedy is great, and it's great that you have a sense of humor, but there are certain lines that should not be crossed. And one of them is probably not loading a gun, putting it to a person's head, and going, ha ha ha.
She's the next Joker.
Why so serious? I got the family dynamic. I understand how that dynamic works between brother and sister because I grew up in it. So to me, I was relating to the story, but at the same time, like I said, I was just thinking, what is Rob thinking? Why is he not responding? I think I would be a little upset that my daughter had pulled a knife on her brother.
I can understand because I wanted to see if a stove was hot when I was younger, so I put my brother's hand on it.
Oh my God!
It was hot.
What did your parents do when they found out?
I remember I was young, so I just remember lots of yelling.
And Rob's doesn't appear to be a yeller.
Oh, I'm sure he can.
I'm sure that he can too, but in the story, I did not hear that reaction, that response, and that's where my questions, and that's where the spiraling in my head goes, as to, dude,
what
your
what's
daughter
the
pulled a
punishment?
knife. Why? What? Yeah. What did you didn't put her over your knee? You didn't ground her. What happened? Where was that? Then, you know, you continue to listen to Cake and Cookies. He finishes that story. They continue to talk about the things going on with, especially with Katie, because her sister has moved out. So you've got the running show.
She was so sad about that.
I understand, you know, you can have a sibling who you're also close to. And
I wouldn't know about that.
I wouldn't either. I know others who do. It's not in my life.
No.
So you had this diametrically opposed sort of sibling relationships going on that I was hearing. So it was very interesting to kind of get that dynamic in the show, and I love that about the fact that these shows, regardless of which show you're talking about, they share their personal lives in a way that you can get that, and you can hear that oxymoron of life that happens on a day-to-day basis, you know, and not everybody's.
And you're like, oh my God, I do the same thing.
Right, exactly. So she's talking about her sister, though, which then gets derailed by the fact that they're talking about vegetables.
She's starting her radishes and other, like the cabbages and stuff next
Allow
week.
me, I don't want
and,
to be...
She's got it all planned out.
I hate radishes. Useless.
I know.
Really, I mean, don't grow that.
And she tried to, you know, she told me heirloom radishes, like everything. She's got like heirloom seeds for
Okay, when you say heirloom,
I don't care.
It indicates an heirloom is something that is left to someone in a will.
Now you give
If
me
someone
an heirloom
left me-
tomato.
Yeah, that's great.
Oh.
But if someone wills me a radish,
I don't want a radish.
burn in hell. I don't want it.
No.
I don't want that.
Radishes are icky.
Yeah.
I like radishes.
How can you possibly? There's no use for them. You
I
can't
like
put them on a
radishes.
pizza.
Hold on. Yes, you can.
No, you can't.
Yes, you can.
You ruin a pizza.
Oh, man.
I wouldn't put them on a pizza.
It has to pair off with something that you want that bitterness of a radish. I think it's a great salad accoutrement.
No.
It is, I like them on their own. I like dipping them in ranch. I love radishes. I like vegetables. Now,
vegetables are good. Radish is not a vegetable.
What do you mean it's not a
It's
vegetable?
some sort of putrid thing.
It's a root.
It's gross.
It's a root vegetable.
It's like
awful.
a very mild horseradish.
I'm not a big fan of those either.
I love horseradish.
Me too.
No prime rib should go without horseradish.
Definitely not.
No steak should go without horseradish, I think. But Rob was so funny that he picked up on the word heirloom.
Heirloom.
And look, You know, as far as I'm concerned, if what I get in somebody's will is vegetables, period, go to hell.
Is that
regardless of the fact that I love vegetables?
Now, is an heirloom radish, because I've never seen one, is that a really big radish?
To be honest, I have never seen an heirloom radish before.
I've never heard of anything outside of an heirloom tomato.
Yeah.
I've heard of some heirlooms, like heirloom apples, and a couple other things here locally.
It's usually, yeah, like you see it a lot with like pumpkins and a lot of like squash and zucchini. And
Are we sure this isn't just a marketing ploy? Like, you know how gourmet people started cooking with Asiago cheese? And so all of a sudden, Subway and Panera and everybody else has Asiago cheese on everything? Is it kind of like heirloom tomatoes are popular? So now all the other vegetables are putting heirloom in front of it?
Give me a beefcake tomato any day.
It's the
beefcake.
Yeah.
You mean beefsteak?
No, that too. Beefsteak, beefcake, I don't care.
I'll take a beefcake. You can have the beefsteak.
As far as Vinny's concerned, anything is beefcake when it comes to food.
Oh yeah.
I think that heirlooms are the natural evolution of the organic craze. Because when you got to the point where you decided, I'm not going to use chemical fertilizers, then you get to the point where you get to the non-genetically enhanced seeds, and you go back to what they call the heirloom products. And I like them from a tomato standpoint. I love heirloom tomatoes.
it's supposed to be like that. They're not as like overly farmed, strains of that type of whatever it is.
And a lot more unique flavors. I find with heirloom tomatoes especially, no tomato is the same. The flavors the complexity of the flavor changes, and I love that about it. So I usually, when it's farmers market season, I go, and as soon as the heirlooms are out,
Yes, I see your Foursquare often.
Hey, I love the farmers
market. Marcus Serta is at Farmers Market.
I'm either there buying stuff or I'm there hawking some buttermilk pastries and pies.
And this has been Vegetable Talk at the Green Mountain State on the Moore Broadcasting Network.
Farmers Extension Service.
Let's talk about drama.
Oh, I love drama. Well, not if it involves me, but other people, it's great.
You know, when I was working in community theater, I always said I love drama on the stage. I hate drama off. Until this week on It's Mickey, when the Jason Cody comments blew up.
It's just that one little comment, you know?
It was one comment. Mickey had listened to an episode of O'MearaCast from a while ago. It wasn't even a recent episode. And he picked up on this one line from Jason where Jason made a crack about his Baltimore accent, which turned into, of course, the podcast war. And it was so funny, and it blew up in such a way that obviously if you haven't caught up yet, go back to episode 74 where it's just Jason and I talking about this situation, because it was one of the best It's Mickeys I've heard. Not just because of the fact that they loved on me or loved on O'mearaCast.
They really did. Mickey really likes your show. He likes your show.
And I appreciate that. And he gets this show as much as I get his show. And it's great that we can have this rapport with each other. That being said, so we did an O'mearaCast. It was just Jason and I talking about this podcast war, this flame out that happened with Mickey over Jason's comments. And the next day, Wendy got mad at Jason, and here's what happened.
What's wrong with you?
Oh my God, he won't even give you credit where credit's due.
He's
Wendy.
like, oh, but Mickey's a great guy. I didn't mean he's unintelligent.
And Wendy's over there in the corner with like little candies.
By the way, is there a camera in here? Like, what corner do you think I am? Like, what is this? Like, nobody puts baby in the corner.
Nobody. I would never put you in the corner.
What do you think, my mic sticks like all the way over there? No,
you're not even in this room.
I know. You're in the corner. Get in the cage.
Oh, poor Jason.
Yeah.
Called you a child.
Yeah, I'm going to start Will Johnsoning Jason. I'm going to start omitting him from everything and not giving him his time.
From now on, just refer to Jason as Will Johnson.
Yeah, I'm going to Will Johnson you, Jason. You're now Will Johnson. Which, by the way, those clips we omitted. Will Johnson is just not getting his claim to fame. Sad day.
Yeah, we just took out the Will Johnson clip.
We were like,
he wants it so bad.
Skip-a-ronies. Back to this Jason guy.
Unbelievable. The Will Johnson and JC Cody. The jokes that we've done internally here on AmeriCast have now spread on more broadcasting over to It's Mickey, because It's Mickey knows, and Wendy knows, that Will Johnson, he said it blatantly on this show, and he said it on social media, that he wants to get his name, he wants to have his name mentioned. He wants the attention.
He's got it.
And now he's got
an
it.
Adjective.
He is the punchline to a joke. He is the slander of Jason Cody now. So Will Johnson's getting his name mentioned, but not in a good way.
No,
this isn't positive.
And he hasn't caught on to that fact, has he?
Did you notice
Does Will Johnson ever notice that he never gets his name mentioned in a good way?
Who noticed and who noticed that on social media, Will was eating it up, but didn't seem to. It was just my perspective, or did Will not get the fact that he was the butt of the joke as much as Jason?
I think he loved it. I think he knew it and loved it.
Yeah, 'cause he's getting attention now, right?
He's too busy using beach towels, that his name was mentioned.
Well, yeah, I don't think Will had his pants up. I think his pants were down around his ankles for 2 days straight dealing with this.
Just you wait. He's going to say something off color about Wendy, and he's going to get it handed to him.
Oh, no. I'm sure she's not going to give him the time of day now.
Oh, no. Go look on Twitter, and you'll see that Will Johnson has been pushing it and trying to have this back and forth, which, of course, again,
he's trying too hard.
What's the over/under on the restraining order?
A matter of weeks. If you want somebody to like you, I'm not sure. Or do you want somebody to like you? I'm starting to wonder whether or not he wants the fame, whether or not he wants people to like him, what it is. But I'm not sure that Will is taking the right approach. Because even in that clip you heard, we know that he wants the attention, and we're not going to give it to him. Even though now they've deemed Jason Cody as Will Johnson.
Faux Will Johnson.
Yeah, Will Johnson changed his name on Twitter and on Facebook to Original Will Johnson.
Oh.
But then, did you notice he didn't understand what OG was?
That is so true.
Oh, it was the best cross promotion because honestly, we've spoken before, Marcus, that I haven't really listened to It's Mickey near the beginning, and I just wasn't getting into it.
Yeah.
But this really, in all of what Jason said or the faux Will Johnson, everything he did.
Yeah.
I'm listening to It's Mickey now because, and I'm glad because I really do like listening to Mickey and Wendy. Wendy's a great co-host.
Oh, she's fantastic, and I'm so happy that they are working on incorporating her name somehow in the title so that she can get that credit and is searchable and all of that. But
and I don't even see what the big deal about his accent is.
Did anyone listen to my conversation with Jason?
I did.
What did you think about Jason's explanation for his comments?
This is, and I'm probably going to hear it from Jason too. He's probably going to say that the next time he's on AmeriCast, get on my case about something. But honestly, I think he wimped out.
Really?
I think he wimped out.
Why would you say that he wimped out? Because I didn't take Jason, and believe me, I believe Jason in the fact that he wasn't trying to be slamming. He was trying to be joking.
No, I get that. And having met Jason, I don't think he's the type of person it's going to go around and bad-mouthing people for the sake of being for a lack of a better term, a dick. But he's going to... he's trying to get a joke. He's trying to get a laugh out of it. Yeah. And I agree. I think that's what he was trying to do. Is and as he explained, just doing a little TMOS stick.
Yeah, absolutely. And on the other side of things, if we want to talk about the original Will Johnson, we've heard him here on the show, and he'll make a dig at Mickey or Wendy or whoever, and he will also say in the second breath, I'm just trying to get my name mentioned on It's Mickey because it seems like I can't get my name mentioned anywhere.
I think that's more on his side though. He says stuff that is way too far, and it is crossing the line. But then he will immediately follow it up with, "I'm joking."
But is it?
Can you give me an example?
Well, I don't know the exact number of the OMearaCast show, but I do remember him mentioning my name prior to OMearaCon, and basically saying that he and the other boys were going to pass me around.
Oh,
as if I'm a pass-aroundable person.
I do kind of remember that. Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
So, what were your thoughts and feeling about the original Will Johnson the day before that aired?
Oh, as far as I'm concerned, the OG Will Johnson can have the same ending as Tupac.
Oh.
Wow. Okay.
I don't even know if he'll know what that means.
I understand.
No, I'm just
I get
kidding.
It.
Hey, he's a friend, but yes, he has definitely gotten my ire up.